I'd been married to Nathan for 2 years. I was obsessed with him. He hated me. How much did he hate me? I got into a car accident, suffered multiple fractures, and stayed in their hospital for 6 months. As an orthopedic doctor, he never visited me. No one liked me. Everyone said I was the one who drove Lola away, that I was heartless. When I first had the accident and lost my ability to move, everyone around him felt relieved for him. Nathan, you can finally get a break. When I was about to be discharged, his friends were worried for him. Mandy is getting discharged. She's going to be a nightmare for Nathan again. And sure enough, the first thing I did after getting discharged was find Nathan. But this time, I wasn't there to cling to him. I handed him a document. Nathan, this is what you wanted. What? I smiled lightly. Open it and you'll see. Nathan, I don't want the house or the car. I wish you even more success in the future. Let's never see each other again. After handing over the divorce papers, I stepped back and disappeared into the crowd. Nurse, what's going on with the patient next door? Why hasn't anyone come to visit her? Maybe she's done too many bad things, and everyone's avoiding her. Even in my coma, I could hear everything around me. But no matter how hard I tried in that dark, unconscious world, I just couldn't wake up. Finally, after countless attempts, a cup from the next bed fell to the ground with a thud, jolting me awake. Oh wow, you're awake. A woman gasped. I stared at the ceiling above me, unable to move. Sorry, I dropped the cup. Did I scare you awake? No, I should be thanking her. The shock was what finally pulled me out. No one knew how terrifying that dark, unconscious world was for me. The doctors soon heard that I was awake. They came to examine me and said it was good that I had finally woken up. But among all the doctors, I didn't see Nathan. While I was unconscious, I never heard his voice. Now that I was awake, he still didn't show up. Where's Nathan? The doctors exchanged glances. Dr. Nathan. He's in surgery right now. He can't come. Oh. How's my condition? When the accident happened, you hit the back of your head. There was a lot of internal bleeding, which caused your coma. Your right hand was fractured, your left thigh was severely broken, and you had multiple other fractures and soft tissue injuries. In short, you were seriously hurt. As of yesterday, you had been unconscious for 40 days. Luckily, you were brought to the hospital in time. The bleeding in your brain is slowly being reabsorbed, and your fractures have been treated with surgery and casts. You're slowly recovering. During dinner, the woman in the next bed was feeding her husband when she turned to ask me. This Dr. Nathan you keep mentioning, is he someone important to you? He is my husband. What kind of surgery lasts 8 hours? Your wife wakes up from a coma, and you don't even have a second to check on her? I shook my head. Just an acquaintance. When Nathan walked in, I was clumsily eating. Eating with my left hand felt awkward. As soon as he entered, my hand froze in midair. In that moment, I must have looked pathetic. He glanced at me, then looked at the man in the next bed. What's going on? So he was here for the patient next door. I lowered my head and continued eating mechanically, feeling completely numb. Doctor, you're here. My husband says his elbow suddenly hurts a lot. Nathan loosened the cast on the man's arm. Does this feel better? Much better. It doesn't hurt as much now. Then, a pair of white shoes appeared beside my bed. A nurse rushed over. Dr. Nathan, emergency case. The white shoes disappeared again. I looked out into the darkness and took a deep breath. Ever since that day, Nathan never came to see me again. Dr. Otto had returned, so Nathan no longer needed to cover his shifts. Everyone in my ward was under Dr. Otto's care. I heard that on the night of my accident, there was a massive pile-up, leaving many injured. I also heard that Nathan had gone to another province for a medical exchange. By the time he returned, a major fire had broken out in the city, and the hospital was overwhelmed with patients. Later, I heard he was sent abroad for further studies. In short, he was incredibly busy. The patients in the bed next to mine changed over and over again. Once I could get out of bed, I pushed myself through rehabilitation training. I was determined to stand up again, to be normal. No matter how painful it was, I gritted my teeth and persevered, just like the other patients in that rehabilitation room. Of course, during that time, I also became a laughingstock in my old social circle. The proud and aloof cold peacock had ended up bedridden after a car accident, unable to take care of herself, relying on others for everything. We had all been medical students at the same university. But during my internship year, I injured my hand, which meant I could never become a surgeon. I gave up on the profession entirely. Several of my former classmates were now working at this hospital. But no one pitied me, they just saw it as karma. After all, everyone believed I had ruthlessly driven Lola away all those years ago, forcing her to leave the country. You're fully recovered, well done. 4 months later, when I finally walked a normal distance without any assistive devices, my rehabilitation trainer clapped for me. Thank you for being there for me. It's your own determination that got you through this. Honestly, your injury was severe, a shattered femur. But you're the only patient I've ever seen who never once cried out in pain during the entire recovery process. I smiled but said nothing. I was discharged from the hospital. After finishing the paperwork, I took a taxi home. It had been nearly 6 months since I was last there. I paused briefly before placing my hand on the fingerprint lock. The moment I stepped inside, I was met with the scent of dust. As expected, Nathan hadn't been home much either. I tidied up the couch and opened a container of takeout soup. Just as I took my second sip, my phone buzzed. I glanced at the group chat messages and fell silent. Mandy's out of the hospital. What? So soon? I thought she was seriously injured? She's going to start clinging to Nathan again. I swear, he must owe her from a past life because she just won't leave him alone in this one. Shoo. She's still in this group. If she sees this, you're dead meat. Crap, wrong chat. One by one, the messages were quickly deleted. I put my phone down and continued eating my soup. That night, I slept alone. Nathan didn't come back. By morning, I lifted my stiff hand to rub my eyes, took a deep breath, then got up and got dressed. I grabbed a folder from the coffee table and left the house. Right before I shut the door, I hesitated for a moment, taking one last look at the home I had once carefully designed. Then, bang, I pulled the door shut and walked away. Outside the orthopedic department, I saw Nathan. He and the other doctors had just finished their morning meeting, filing out of the conference room in their white coats. When he saw me, he froze mid-page turn. The doctor beside him glanced between us and tactfully walked away. I wasn't sure why, but I still managed to smile as I approached him. Maybe I was just grateful I had recovered, that I hadn't been left permanently disabled. Maybe I had finally let go. His skin was naturally flawless, and though faint dark circles lingered beneath his eyes, they couldn't overshadow his strikingly perfect features. He spoke first. Sorry. I had 3 surgeries yesterday. By the time I finished, I realized you'd already completed your discharge and left. I nodded and handed him the folder in my hands. Here. This is for you. What is it? His eyes flickered with a brief moment of confusion. I shrugged and smiled, a genuine, relieved smile. Open it and you'll see. It's what you wanted. Nathan, the house, the car, I don't want any of it. I hope you achieve everything you want in life. Let's not see each other again. I handed him the divorce papers, then stepped back and disappeared into the crowd. At the airport, I pulled out my phone, deleted his contact, and boarded a flight to a quiet little town. That evening, after landing, I went to see my cousin, who was raising a child alone. Mommy, it's Auntie. My cousin emerged from the kitchen, taking one look at my suitcase. You two had a fight? We ended it. But, you loved him so much. I gave a faint, bitter smile. Love should be mutual. If only one person is constantly giving, it's nothing more than self-inflicted pain. Maybe it even becomes a burden to the other person. You finally understand that now? Silly girl. He wasn't worth it. That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat by the window, watching the empty road outside. I heard movement behind me. Still awake? Just a little insomnia. I'll sleep soon. My cousin walked over and wrapped her arms around me, touching my forehead lightly. You poor thing. You wanted to be a surgeon, but your hand injury ruined that. And when you finally fell for someone, he turned out to be so heartless. I stared at the streetlights outside, lost in thought. If he hated me so much, why did he marry me in the first place? I really don't understand. I never forced him into it. Forget him. Move on, live your life. Yeah. I've decided to forget him. I plan to settle down here and open a pharmacy. That's great. Need a business partner? I'll invest. Definitely. We both laughed. 6 months later, the pharmacy was up and running. My cousin and I took turns managing the store. Life in this small town moved at a slow, steady pace. And with time, the past became nothing more than a distant blur. Afternoon sunlight streamed through the windows as Ruby walked over, holding out my phone. "Auntie, your call." "Good girl. I'm getting married. Will you come to my wedding?" Stacy was my only friend during college. "Where's the wedding going to be?" "Of course, in City A. You have to come. You know I don't have many friends. If you don't show up, I'll be really disappointed." "Alright, send me the hotel address." It had been a year. Some things I had let go of, and others had moved on even more. In the hotel hall, Stacy, with half her makeup done, ran out to greet me. "I'm so happy you could come." We shared a light hug. "Of course I'd be here for your wedding." "Silly, I heard some things about you and Nathan. I know you left City A. Today is your big day. Let's not talk about me. Go finish your makeup, the ceremony is about to start." After Stacy left, I picked up a glass of red wine, swirling it gently before taking a small sip. They're all here? I never realized I had such influence. Even the big shots from the hospital showed up. Good thing you picked a weekend. Otherwise, it would have been tough to get everyone here. Look at that, Nathan, the busiest of them all, is here too. I heard the conversation at the entrance. The wine in my mouth suddenly tasted a little bitter. I hadn't known that Stacy's groom, Scott, had also transferred to 3rd Hospital. No wonder so many people from there had come today. I glanced over, just in time to meet Nathan's eyes. "Nathan, what are you looking at?" With that, everyone's attention followed his gaze, straight to me. A wave of surprised expressions washed over the crowd. Nathan withdrew his gaze and pulled out his wedding gift. And then, I saw who was standing beside him, offering a gift as well. Even though I had prepared myself mentally, my breath still caught for a moment. Lola was back. But just for a moment. I looked away and turned my focus to the wisteria hanging outside the window. As the breeze passed through, the knots in my heart seemed to loosen and drift away with it. Back in college, people always said Nathan and Lola were made for each other. Now, from their perspective, I suppose they had finally gotten their happy ending. The wedding began, and everyone took their seats. The hospital staff were seated together. The groom is a doctor here in City A. Doctors are really in demand these days. See that table over there? It's full of his colleagues. If you have any single girls in your family, now's the time to get their numbers. Too bad the most handsome one is probably taken. That girl next to him must be his girlfriend. As the music played, the ceremony commenced. Afterward, the guests started to mingle. Footsteps approached. "You've been gone for a year. If it weren't for Stacy's wedding, were you never planning to come back?" I hadn't expected Nathan to walk over, holding a glass of wine. Dressed in a black suit, his presence was as striking as ever. I met his gaze. "Come back? This was never my home." "Never, your home?" From the corner of my eye, I noticed Lola looking over. I could see the concern in her expression. I picked up a dessert. "Sorry, but I don't think we have anything to talk about." I turned away from the dessert table. Checking the time, I decided to wait for Stacy to come out so I could say goodbye and leave. "You're leaving already? We haven't even had a proper conversation. Seeing you happy is enough for me." Stacy held my hand, then glanced at Nathan and Lola. "Are you leaving because of them?" "Sorry, I didn't tell you they might be here." "It's fine. I've already moved on. They don't affect me anymore." I stepped out of the hotel and hailed a taxi to the airport. "Mandy, where are you going?" Just as I was about to get in, my arm was suddenly grabbed. Startled, I turned around, it was Nathan. A heavy silence fell between us. Don't go. What are you doing? I have a flight to catch. You getting in or not? The taxi driver sounded impatient. Nathan leaned down and spoke through the window. Sorry, we're not leaving. Then he shut the car door. The hell? Why call a cab if you're not leaving? Wasting my time. The driver cursed and drove off. I looked at Lola standing not far away, her expression dark. Then I turned back to Nathan, confused. What is this supposed to mean? He tightened his grip on my arm. What about you? What do you mean by this? We're still legally married. Where exactly are you planning to go alone? I never signed the divorce papers. My face twisted into a frown. You're hurting me. Nathan realized and let go. The hotel entrance wasn't the place for this conversation. He drove us to the seaside. I rolled down the window, letting the salty ocean air fill the car. Why didn't you sign? Isn't that what you wanted? I saw his hands tighten on the steering wheel. What I wanted? Huh. Just say what you need to say. He suddenly reached over and grasped my hand. Not coming home tonight? Did something happen? Don't tell me you ran into Nathan? I took a deep breath, glancing at the man pouring water in the kitchen. So you did run into him. And that's why you're not coming back. Mandy, did you hit your head or something? Have you already forgotten how much he hurt you? You finally moved on, and now you're going back. Is that my cousin? At some point, Nathan had walked over. Pass me the phone. He took it straight from my hand. Hey, it's me, Nathan. The voice on the other end got louder, more agitated. Nathan stepped onto the balcony, taking the call outside. I looked around the room. I remembered the day I left, dust covered everything. Now, it was spotless and bright. 10 minutes later, Nathan came back and handed me the phone. Why aren't you drinking your tea? I remember you used to love this. I frowned slightly. Get some rest. Tomorrow morning, we'll finalize the divorce. I need to get back to work, and my cousin's already busy enough. Where should I sleep? The divorce papers had been drawn up a year ago. I didn't want the house. Sitting here now, I was just a guest. Before bed, he smoked a cigarette on the balcony. At some point, he had picked up the habit. His phone, left on the table, lit up with messages from a group chat. Did everyone see Mandy at Scott's wedding today? How could we not? She was right there. People always said doctors were too busy. I never realized they had time for gossip. What do you think she's back for? Trying to win Nathan back? Nathan picked up his phone. A moment later, the group chat was deleted. A new pizza place just opened downstairs. Want to grab some late-night snacks? I got up. I'll sleep in the study. Get some rest, we need to be up early to finalize the paperwork. The study looked the same. But lying here now, it no longer felt like home. The pizza's here. Come eat. I didn't respond, pretending to be asleep. After a while, I heard footsteps retreating from the door. From the window, I could see a light still on in the living room. At dawn, the lights in the living room finally went off. When the sun rose, I got up. The master bedroom was still quiet. I sat down in the living room, waiting for him. As the sun climbed higher and higher, and the master bedroom remained silent, I glanced at the time and knocked on the door of the master bedroom. No one answered. Frowning, I looked at the hallway and noticed his slippers neatly placed at the entrance. I immediately pushed open the bedroom door, but there was no one inside. Walking out, I saw a note on the dining table. Emergency at the hospital, I'm gone. Breakfast is in the fridge, remember to eat. I put the note down. I had no appetite for breakfast. When I tried calling him, it was busy. With no other choice, I went to the hospital. At the hospital, I was told he was in the operating room. I had no choice but to wait for him in his office. His friend, Taylor, walked in. It seemed he had just finished a night shift. We exchanged a brief look, and I turned my gaze away in disgust. He was the one who used to support Nathan and Lola the most. This time, however, he didn't mock me. Nathan can't come down from the operating table yet. If you're bored, you can use his computer to browse the internet. He opened Nathan's drawer, took out a bag of snacks, and placed it on the table. These are from Nathan. He took his phone and left. I stood still for a moment. The bag was full of the chips I used to love. But I had no desire to eat. Not only had I forgotten those painful memories, but I had also given up many unhealthy habits. I waited, and it wasn't until 4 in the afternoon that Nathan finally came down from the operating table, looking exhausted. When he saw me, he seemed stunned for a moment. I raised the file bag in my hand, expressionless. "I've been waiting for you. There's only 1 hour left. We need to hurry." "All right," he nodded. "I'll change my clothes first." He went into the bathroom. 10 minutes passed, and I grew anxious waiting outside. He came out, towel in hand, pointing to the boxed lunch that the nurse had brought in earlier. "Give me some time to eat, okay? I haven't eaten all day. We're running out of time." He smiled bitterly. "I'll be quick, 5 minutes." I didn't say anything else. He ate quickly, and as we were about to leave, we opened the door only to have the nurse rush in. "Nathan, the patient in bed 3 is having a sudden loss of consciousness and breathing difficulties." "I'll go check." He was called away again. Life or death, I couldn't stop him, but I couldn't help feeling frustrated. When he returned, it was an hour after the government office had closed. He checked the time and looked at me with an apologetic expression. "Sorry, the patient had a fat embolism, had to be saved immediately." I didn't know what to say. I was angry, but the patient did need him. "Take care of your work. I don't want any delays tomorrow. I'll be staying at a hotel tonight." "Mandy?" Just as I was about to leave, a doctor came over. When I saw who it was, I froze for a moment. "Dr. Otto." He looked at my leg and smiled. "It's great. No lasting effects. I haven't seen you at the hospital for a year." I asked Nathan why you weren't coming in anymore. Dr. Otto was older than Nathan's group, a senior in their department. I looked at Nathan. Did Dr. Otto not know that Nathan and I had already broken up? "You're recovering well, I'm relieved. Let's go, I'm treating the department tonight." "Nathan, bring your wife along." "Sorry, I have something tonight. You guys go ahead and eat." Dr. Otto's face immediately turned serious. "What? You won't even do this for me?" My life had once been saved by him, so he was like my lifesaver. I refused again, which seemed like I lacked manners. "All right." As they spoke, I overheard that Dr. Otto had been promoted to department head, and this dinner was a celebration. When everyone gathered, they looked at me with a bit of surprise. But Nathan seemed to want to protect me, standing by my side the whole time. I rode in Nathan's car. In the car, I stared silently out the window. Nathan gently took my hand. His hand was warm, mine was cold. "Are you still angry?" I turned to face him. I tried to pull my hand away, but he held it tighter. Then he released it, as if realizing something. "Sorry." I pulled my hand back and placed it on my lap. "You didn't tell them we've already separated?" "Except for that time I was drunk and mentioned you gave me the divorce papers, no one else knows. If anyone brings you up, I say you're traveling." So, aside from those classmates, no one knew Nathan and I hadn't seen each other in a year, and that this meeting was just for the divorce. "There's Coke in the storage box." "I don't want to drink." "Your taste has changed completely." I didn't respond. Instead, I opened my phone and started looking at it. At the private room, everyone took their seats and ordered food. Some had brought family members. I couldn't fit into the atmosphere. I ate in silence. Nathan served me food twice, but I let it sit there, not touching it. It was all food I used to like. Even the snacks had changed. How could he think I still liked the same dishes from before? Suddenly, Dr. Otto pointed at me. "Why have you been eating without saying a word?" "Been a year, Mandy, you've changed. You used to be so talkative." In the past, I would attend these gatherings with Nathan. Back then, I was full of enthusiasm for our marriage. Sitting beside Nathan, I would act natural, building good relationships with everyone. I'd dive into any conversation and try to blend in. I put down my chopsticks and smiled. Sorry, it's been a while since I ate here, I was just craving it. Dr. Otto shook his head. No, I can tell. You two must have had a fight. Mandy seems impatient with Nathan. This is just like me and my partner after a fight. Mandy, is it because Nathan didn't accompany you on your trip? This is my fault for filling up his schedule with work. I'll make sure he has more time to spend with you in the future. I felt embarrassed when he exposed it. Although we were getting divorced, I didn't want to make it public now and cause a scene. There's no need. It's his job. Are you still worried that while you were away, Nathan might have cheated? I can assure you, he's been clean. I haven't seen him talk to any women privately. I furrowed my brows. Had Lola returned? He never spoke to a woman? How could that be? But Dr. Otto added. In front of so many people, I wouldn't lie. On my way back, I stopped by the restroom. I scooped up some cold water and splashed it on my face. Dr. Otto's wife, Tracy, also came in. She gave me a smile. I nodded in acknowledgement. It's been a while. You've lost some weight. Tracy patted my shoulder. Tell me, what exactly happened between you and Dr. Nathan? The girl who used to look at him with stars in her eyes, now they seemed so dim. I knew Tracy was genuinely concerned about our relationship. There's nothing left between us. Tracy's mouth fell open slightly, and she hesitated for a moment. I don't know the details between you two, but I can tell that he still cares about you. When you were in that accident, as long as he wasn't sent away for work, he stayed at the hospital with you every night. Especially when you were in the ICU, he slept right next to your bed. She continued, at the time of your accident, he was out of town for an academic exchange with the hospital director. The moment he got the news, he ran out of the conference room and rushed back. Because of that, he was even disciplined by the hospital. I was completely stunned. He stayed by my side while I was unconscious? Tracy let out a sigh. I don't get it. He clearly cares about you, yet he never visits when you're awake. There were times when Otto was on night shifts, and I passed by your room, I saw him sitting by your bed. She patted my shoulder again. Don't rush to any conclusions. Maybe there's just some misunderstanding that hasn't been cleared up. Tracy left first. I answered a phone call before walking out of the restroom. At the entrance of the private dining room, Nathan was standing there, seemingly waiting for me. Are you feeling unwell? If you are, I'll let them know and we can leave first. I glanced inside, the dinner seemed to be wrapping up soon. I'm fine. Let's leave together when it's over. Half an hour later, the gathering ended. At the hotel entrance, everyone exchanged farewells and left one by one. As we drove past another hotel, I turned to Nathan. Pull over at the next intersection. I'm staying at a hotel tonight. Meet me at the civil affairs office at 8 in the morning. It's the weekend tomorrow. They won't be open. I immediately checked my phone. I can't believe how absent-minded I've been, I didn't even realize tomorrow is the weekend. Then I'll just go home. I snapped. Nathan, can you show me some respect? You've been messing with me all day. Do you find this fun? He fell silent for a moment, then looked up at me. If someone has to stay at a hotel, it should be me. The house was designed by you with so much care, it's yours to stay in. I'll take you home first. That night, he kept his word and dropped me off at the parking garage before driving away. But the next morning, when I stepped out to buy breakfast, I saw his car parked downstairs. I looked away and headed home. He got out of the car. I got a call from your dad. It's his birthday today. He wants us to come over for dinner. There's no need. He's had 2 heart relapses already. He really wants to see you. I gripped my breakfast tighter and quickened my steps upstairs. I'll be waiting downstairs. As soon as I got inside, my phone started ringing again. I hung up. It buzzed twice more. Mandy, just come home for one meal, okay? Dad asked Verna to cook all your favorite dishes. The other day, I was diagnosed with pulmonary congestion. With all my health problems combined, I probably don't have many years left. I know I let you and your mom down. You have every right to hate me. But I still love you, and I just want to see if Nathan has been treating you well. I turned off my phone and tossed it aside. When we arrived at the house, Nathan opened the trunk and grabbed the canned goods I was carrying. "These are heavy. I'll take them." In the yard, Tony, who was playing around, glanced at us before running inside. "Dad. Sis is here." Before going in, I watched Nathan's back for a second, feeling a strange sense of doubt. I had an old photo album I made. Inside was a picture of me with my parents. I once saw him holding it, his fingers pressing over my dad's face. His eyes had this strange look, something like hatred. I had asked him indirectly if he knew my father. He avoided the question, saying he was busy. Snapping back to reality, I followed him inside. "You're here?" My dad looked toward the doorway, his voice carrying a hint of excitement. "Verna. Come out, Mandy's here." A woman, wearing an apron, rushed out from the kitchen, my stepmother, at least in name. "You don't have to bring anything when you come home. Give that to me, you two go sit in the living room. Just 2 more dishes, and we'll eat." Sitting in the living room, silence fell between us. Ever since my dad's affair tore this family apart, I never called him dad again. Beside him, an 4-drip stand was set up. That caught me off guard. His face no longer looked healthy either. The moment I sat down, I wanted to get back up and step outside. Nathan sat beside me, taking my hand. "Your surgery was a success. Why did it relapse?" Verna brought over a fruit platter and some drinks. "You two should talk some sense into him. He's not young anymore, he needs to stop overworking himself. The last time he had an attack, he collapsed in under a minute. I was scared out of my wits. It wasn't that serious. Don't listen to her. She always exaggerates. The doctor said as long as I rest properly, I'll be fine." I stood up. "I'm going outside for a bit." My father turned to Tony, who was playing nearby. "Tony, go with your sister." Tony abandoned his Lego set. "All right." He trailed behind me, eager but reserved. I could tell he wasn't quite comfortable around me yet but wanted to be closer. I sighed. Life really has a twisted sense of humor. A man who destroyed his own family still managed to find someone who loved him, and she even gave him a well-behaved son. Verna wasn't my father's mistress. His actual mistress left him for a younger, wealthier man 3 years after breaking up our family. That was when Verna entered the picture. If it weren't for that, I wouldn't be here today. Tony fidgeted with his fingers. "Do you want to see my goldfish? They're in the stone tank." "Sure. You can't overfeed them, or they'll die from overeating." "Huh? But they eat everything I give them. They don't know when to stop. As their owner, you have to control their portions." "How much should I feed them?" "They're still small. 3 to 5 pellets per fish is enough." "I'll remember that." "Sis, big bro's here." I turned to see Nathan walking over. "Big bro, sis just taught me how to feed my fish properly. I didn't know I was giving them too much, and they could have died." Nathan ruffled his hair. "Dinner's ready. Let's go inside and eat." Halfway through dinner, an unexpected incident occurred. My dad suddenly clutched his chest in pain. "Tony, go to the living room and grab your dad's heart medication, quick." Verna supported him anxiously. Tony rushed to get the medicine. I took a pill and placed it in my dad's mouth. Dinner was officially ruined. Nathan carried him to the bedroom and laid him down flat. The family doctor arrived soon after. By the time everything settled down, the sky had already darkened. I stepped out of the bedroom and looked at the swaying branches outside. A jacket was draped over my shoulders. Nathan said, "It's windy here. Don't catch a cold." The doctor came out. I asked, "How is he? Is it serious?" "It's not looking great. You all should stay the night, just in case something happens." Verna chimed in, "Yes, stay. I panic easily when things go wrong, and I'm terrible at making decisions. I feel more at ease with you young ones around. Mandy, your room has always been kept for you. Other than cleaning it once a week, I haven't touched a thing inside." I hesitated for a moment before nodding in agreement. Verna wasn't aware of my current relationship with Nathan, so she didn't arrange a separate room for him. I didn't want to drag them into our mess either, so I decided to just go along with it for the night. While taking a shower, I accidentally slipped. Nathan must have heard the noise because he barged in, and I was completely drenched, without even a towel to cover myself. You fell? My ankle throbbed sharply. It must have been twisted. But I stayed seated on the floor, instinctively covering my chest. It's nothing. Just leave first. Nathan frowned, grabbed a towel from the rack, and wrapped it around me before stubbornly lifting me into his arms. You sprained your ankle. Let me take you out first. Once he placed me on the bed, I immediately pulled the blanket over myself. Nathan left the room. Do you have any medicine for sprains? Yeah, I heard Mandy's voice earlier. Did she get hurt? Nathan quickly returned with a bottle of liniment and poured some into his palm. By the time he finished showering, I had already closed my eyes. Soon, the other side of the bed sank slightly. Even though I was pretending to be asleep, I could feel him getting closer. And then, he got bolder, pulling me into his embrace. I kept up the act for a while, but eventually, I couldn't anymore. I opened my eyes and stared straight at him. He froze for a second before lowering his head and kissing me. His kiss was gentle, lingering, and intoxicating. I let myself sink into it, until I suddenly snapped back to reality. I pushed him away abruptly, gasping for breath. I stared blankly at the ceiling, chuckled softly, but felt tears slip from the corners of my eyes. What was he doing? For 2 years of marriage, he despised me. Now that we were about to divorce, he suddenly decided to show me tenderness. Even earlier, when he massaged my ankle, he was unbelievably careful. It was all over, and yet here he was, kissing me with such warmth, pulling me back in. Did he want me to chase after him for another 2 years? He saw my tears and looked startled. He reached out and gently wiped them away. I'm sorry. It's my fault. I made you cry. You can hit me, yell at me, just, don't cry, okay? I tilted my head back, forcing my tears down. Why, Nathan? Tracy told me that when I was in a coma after the car accident, you stayed by my side. Is that true? After a moment of silence, he nodded. I sat up and demanded, then why didn't you let me know? Why only come at night? Why make me misunderstand you? Was the daylight version of you too shameful to be seen? He pulled me into his arms. I'm sorry. I was wrong. I hurt you. But in my heart, you have always been the most important. Oh, really? And I'm supposed to believe that just because you said so? For 2 years, you were as cold as ice to me, no matter how hard I tried to warm you up. It was like I was the person you hated most. How am I supposed to believe you now? I was too blind to realize my own feelings in time, and you, an innocent bystander, ended up getting hurt because of it. I couldn't take it anymore. I shoved him away. After a few seconds of silence, he grabbed a pillow and got out of bed. Calm down. I'll sleep on the couch. The next morning, I went downstairs. For a brief moment, I froze at the sight of a familiar figure sitting on the couch. The man turned slightly and smiled at me. You're up? What are you doing here? It had been years since I last saw Wardell. I once considered him like an older brother. He stood up. I heard your father's health hasn't been great lately, so I came to see him. He looked much more mature now. Gone were his bright, flashy outfits, he was dressed in a proper suit. Even that old roguish air about him had vanished. I'll have Verna take you to him. He walked closer. What about you? You're not taking me there yourself? I took a step back. At that moment, Nathan walked in from the entrance with the doctor. Wardell glanced sideways and saw Nathan as well. I'll head upstairs first. Nathan watched him go, his expression darkening instantly. His fists clenched. I was puzzled, I had never seen Nathan react like this before. But the moment he noticed me looking, he quickly masked his emotions. He opened the bag in his hand and took out a pair of white slippers. I stopped by the store while picking up the doctor. These are soft slippers, try them on. When you have a sprained ankle, the softer the shoes, the better. He knelt down, gesturing for me to sit so he could help me change. Verna came over to clear the cups from the table, teasing, you two have such a great relationship. I'll do it myself. As I lowered my head to put on the slippers, an image of his expression earlier flashed through my mind. I glanced up at Nathan. Did he and Wardell have some kind of grudge? Wardell stayed in my dad's room for almost an hour before coming downstairs. He glanced at me, but his gaze ultimately landed on Nathan. Can we talk? Let's talk outside. The two of them stepped into the courtyard. I watched them from a distance. What could they possibly have to talk about? As far as I knew, they had no real connection. Yet, the tension between them was almost tangible. I remembered that back in college, Wardell had visited me once and ran into Nathan. But Nathan barely spoke to him before heading off to the library. Had they met again after that? Tony ran up to me, holding a ball. Sis, will you play with me? I nodded. Sure. As I chased the ball to where the two of them were talking, their conversation drifted into earshot. I heard you haven't treated Mandy well these past few years. You're an outsider. You have no right to comment on our marriage. No right? If it weren't for you, Mandy and I would have been married. She never would have married you. Anyone with eyes could see she only saw you as a brother. She never had romantic feelings for you. She loved you, but what did you give her? Coldness? Pain? If it were me, I would have never let her suffer. You think I wanted this? If you people hadn't gone to such extremes, threatening me first, then targeting my father, I wouldn't have been trapped in that impossible situation. On one side was the woman I loved most, and on the other was the man who raised me. Who was I supposed to choose? How could my conscience ever be at peace? Wardell fell silent for a long time. I felt a chill run through my body when I finally heard his voice again. I'm sorry. If we had known you would never truly let go of her, we wouldn't have pushed you that hard. Do you think a simple sorry will bring my dad back? Thud. The ball slipped from my hands. Both men turned in shock. Mandy, when did you get here? For a moment, their expressions cracked. What are you talking about? I felt frozen, like I had been submerged in ice. I stared at Nathan. What do you mean, bring your dad back? Then I turned to Wardell. What did you do to Nathan's father? No, what did all of you do? Who else was involved? What have you all been hiding from me? A terrible premonition gripped me. The truth lurking behind all of this, it would break me. But I had to face it. Nathan had always avoided talking about his father. Whenever I asked, he would grow impatient, brushing the topic aside. Now, he placed his hands gently on my shoulders. Calm down first. I'll explain everything when you're in a better state of mind. I want to know now. Please, just tell me. Wardell spoke up. I'm sorry, Mandy. I loved you for a long time, but you only ever saw me as a brother. Then you fell for Nathan, and I was young, arrogant, convinced he wasn't good enough for you. So I tried to humiliate him, offered him money to walk away. But he refused to take a cent and told me to stop playing childish games. I was furious. Who was he to act so high and mighty? So I wanted to make him suffer. I had people beat him up. But even then, he didn't leave you. That only made me angrier. Then I found out his father worked in this city, so I took it further. I sent people to attack his father, leaving him severely injured. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My hand moved before I even thought about it. Slap. Wardell's face twisted to the side. You monster. He didn't flinch. I'm sorry, Mandy. If it makes you feel any better, hit me as much as you want. Touching you would only dirty my hands. You're absolutely heartless. Do you even realize? Nathan never stayed away from me because of you. I was the one who loved him. I was the one who chose to be with him. You didn't just hurt him. You brutally attacked his father. Why didn't you just kill me instead? Mandy. Get out. I never want to see you again. Hate me if you must. I've spent years feeling uneasy, knowing that Nathan's coldness toward you was because of what I did. I destroyed your happiness, but I was too much of a coward to tell you. Because I knew, once you learned the truth, you would never forgive me. But it's better this way. At least now, I'm free of the burden. I was the one in the wrong. I should be the one to pay the price. I just hope that you and Nathan won't hurt each other anymore. Stay together. Wait. Who else was involved? No one. Just me. You misheard. I let out a bitter laugh. Do you really think I don't know the answer already? Wardell turned back. It was just me. Don't overthink it. He cast a desperate look at Nathan. Nathan hesitated, then nodded. No one else. I wanted so badly to believe him. That there was no one else. But I knew what I had heard. Nathan truly loved me. And right now, he was willing to protect me from the full truth. It was my father, wasn't it? You planned it together, you attacked Nathan's dad to make him hate me. My father always liked you. He mentioned more than once that if you and I ended up together, he'd feel at peace. The only response was silence. And silence was enough. The truth, when uncovered, was bloody and raw. I couldn't process it. Maybe I never would. It's in the past. Let's not dwell on it. Let's cherish what we have now, okay? Nathan cupped my face, resting his forehead against mine. How do we cherish the present, Nathan, when my father was responsible for your father's death? Today, I finally understood his hatred for me. I had imagined countless reasons. But never this. Nathan sighed. No. My father died of cancer. The attack only left him with superficial wounds. I couldn't hear him anymore. Stop covering for them. When I stood before my father's bed, he already knew. You found out, didn't you? You must have hoped I'd never know. It all made sense now. Why his illness had worsened again and again. It was his karma. Verna, still by his side, tried to defend him. Mandy, don't talk to your father like that. He has always regretted what happened. He only wanted you to marry someone he trusted, someone who would never hurt you. I let out a cold laugh. So marrying someone I don't love wouldn't have been painful? Was this your way of loving me? By destroying the person I loved? Don't call me again pretending to be pitiful. If you had any conscience at all, you would never have reached out to Nathan. His father has been dead for years, and yet here you are, lying on an expensive bed, taking the best medicine money can buy, even making Nathan serve you. He's a person. Do you have any idea how much it must hurt him to see you, knowing what you did to his father? I'm sorry, Mandy. I was wrong. I don't expect forgiveness. My only wish is that your marriage isn't affected. I want you two to be happy. You were never the victim. You just loved me the wrong way. And now, all of this, it's your punishment. There are no second chances. Once happiness is shattered, it can never be put back together. Tears filled my eyes as I let out a bitter laugh. You want me and Nathan to be happy? How cruel can you be? Do you want his father's soul to never rest? I ran out of the house. Like a wandering soul, I drifted aimlessly through the streets. I wanted to get up and breathe in the fresh air, but it felt like a sinister force was pulling me down, dragging me into the depths. After Nathan's father passed away, he handled the funeral and then returned to school. He had been in low spirits ever since. At the time, I knew nothing, only that Nathan's father was gone. I wanted to be there for him, so I waited outside his dorm. Taylor scolded me. Mandy, stay away from Nathan. Let him go. Do you know how pitiful Nathan's dad was? When he died, his body was covered in wounds. Aside from drowning myself in alcohol until my brain lacked oxygen, I couldn't think of any other way to numb myself. Welcome, sir. What would you like to drink? I'm looking for someone. Stop drinking. Let's go home. Through my haze, I saw a tall figure, one that looked just like Nathan. Nathan, why are you here? Don't show up again, okay? I can't face you. I grabbed his arm, trying to roll up his sleeve. How did they hit you? Does it still hurt? That time you took several days off, was it because you were recovering in the hospital? You're the person I love the most. The fact that they hurt you, it hurts me more than if I were the one being beaten. I'm sorry, Nathan. I'm apologizing on behalf of my dad. Please, don't hate me, okay? You'll never forgive me. If only you had never met me, your dad wouldn't have died. Stop being good to me. I don't deserve it. Be good. Let's go home. I felt weightless, as if I were floating in the air. The next morning, I woke up with a pounding headache. Sunlight filtered through the light-colored curtains, making my eyes sting. As consciousness returned, so did the harsh reality of everything I had learned the day before. Then I realized I was in Nathan's and my marital home. I didn't know how to face him. I just wanted to get out of bed and leave. The door opened. Nathan walked in, smiling. "You're awake. I made you some hangover soup, just in time." He scooped a spoonful and brought it to my lips. The kinder he was to me, the harder it was to bear. I pushed it away. "Nathan, you don't have to be this good to me. You're my wife. If I don't treat you well, who else should I treat well?" I glanced at the documents on the table and picked them up. "We should stick to our agreement. On Monday, let's end this marriage." His head lowered into silence. "I'm going out for a walk." As I stepped off the bed, his hand caught mine. "So, you're just going to leave me?" "I'm not abandoning you, I just can't face you. We wronged you. I'm truly sorry about your father, but aside from saying sorry, there's nothing I can do to make up for it. Let's stop this, Nathan. Lola is a much better match for you. And now that she's back, it's perfect timing." His brows furrowed. "Is this because you saw us together at the wedding?" "You misunderstood. Yesterday, at Scott's wedding, I only ran into her at the entrance. Other than that, we had no interaction. You saw her standing next to me and assumed we were together, didn't you? Did you ever think about why I still chose to marry you in the end? You must have believed it was to get revenge on your dad, right? That I married you out of spite? But what if I told you it was because I love you too much? So much that even though my conscience tormented me, I still had to be with you. Would you believe me?" I pressed my lips together. "Nathan, I know that after our marriage, I did let you down. I wasn't the husband I should have been because I was constantly caught in an extreme internal struggle. One part of me wanted to keep you by my side, while the other part resented your father. There were times I thought I was going to break. The day you got into the car accident, I was out of town. When I heard what happened, I completely lost my mind. I rushed back as fast as I could, only to see you lying unconscious in the operating room. My heart shattered. And when I found out that the accident happened because you were in a bad mental state and ran a red light, I blamed myself even more. My coldness made you doubt yourself and spiral into despair. I hated myself. I thought, once you woke up, we should get a divorce. Being with me only brought you pain, so I didn't dare give you any more false hope. I knew you would get back on your feet because you're strong. But the moment you handed me the divorce papers, the moment I realized I was actually losing you, it felt like my heart was bleeding. That was when I finally understood, no amount of hatred could ever outweigh the importance of having you by my side. I knew then that I couldn't sign that divorce agreement. I couldn't lose you. But by that time, your heart was already dead. After you left, I searched for you everywhere. I finally found you in a small town down south. You had opened a pharmacy, and each day, you looked healthier and happier. The damage I had done to you was too great, I didn't even have the courage to show up and disturb your peace. When I heard Stacy was getting married, I was thrilled. I figured if she was getting married, you would definitely come back for the wedding. That meant I could finally see you again. At the wedding, I saw you as I had hoped. I was so overwhelmed, but I forced myself to stay calm. The truth was, I had no idea how to approach you. I didn't even know what to say to make our first conversation feel natural. Then I realized you were about to leave again. I panicked. I ran after you and grabbed your hand because this time, I couldn't let you go. Nathan's grip on my hand tightened. I could feel it, his desperate attempt to hold on to me. But your father is dead. With that burden between us, you'll always carry guilt. My dad died from brain cancer. Yes, he was seriously injured that time, but they were only superficial wounds. Please, believe me. But what your father did has always been a thorn in my heart. Then why did you still answer his calls? Why did you go back with me to see him? He didn't deserve it. Because, at the core of it all, we both loved you too much. Back then, he was afraid that if you stayed with me, I wouldn't be able to give you the life you deserved. He wanted you to have a happy marriage. Any father, upon seeing his precious daughter with a medical student who had no background, would be furious and do everything in his power to keep them apart. Even though you acted cold toward him and refused to talk, I could see it, You still wanted him to be healthy, to be free from pain. Actually, your dad spoke to me a long time ago. He warned me to stay away from you, saying he already had your future husband picked out, a guy from a good family, someone you'd known since childhood. But you, clueless as ever, kept rushing into my arms. You're smart and cute, and despite me turning you down 3 times through gritted teeth, you didn't give up. You have no idea how hard it was for me to reject you every single time. When Wardell came to school looking for you, I could tell you only saw him as a brother, you didn't like him at all. Ironically, he even had someone beat me up to warn me to stay away from you. What he didn't know was that it was precisely because of him that I saw his true character, arrogant and conceited. If you really married him in the future, he wouldn't respect your thoughts. I couldn't bring myself to hand you over to him. But then, I thought to myself, how am I any better than him? After marriage, my indifference to you would cause you the most hurt. From the very beginning, you were innocent, yet you endured the greatest pain. If you still insist on a divorce, I will respect your decision. He suddenly smiled again. Our beginning, because there were some bad rumors about you on campus, I wanted to stay away, and I foolishly assumed you were a domineering girl. But you, with your slightly haughty demeanor, always shyly approached me. As we spent more time together, I realized the rumors were completely wrong. You weren't cruel or overbearing at all. On the contrary, you were not only beautiful, but kind-hearted. I watched you quietly, saw you memorizing books by the lake, bandaging an injured stray cat's leg, giving your pocket money to disabled beggars on the street. Those rumors were just spread by them, who knew they couldn't compare to you, and to drive you out, they falsely accused you. From start to finish, the only person I've ever liked was you. As for Lola, she was just someone who spoke to me a few times when I was trying to reject you. The rumor that we grew up together is only because we happened to sit on the same train on the day of university enrollment. Do you remember? The last time you asked me if I hoped you would go abroad and never bother me again, or if I wanted to marry you, letting you pester me for life. After thinking about it all night, I grabbed your hand and said, let's get married. If, now, you could give me the same choice again, how wonderful it would be. I tilted my head back, but still pulled away from Nathan's hand. This document. I'll keep it for now, he said, taking the divorce papers from my hand. I hope you'll reconsider. Mandy, just remember, I love you, and I want to grow old with you. I walked out, aimlessly strolling down the street. Until my phone rang. Mandy, have you come back? Big cousin, what's going on? Can you hurry back? Ruby's gone missing, I can't find her anywhere. Come help me look. I was shocked, how could Ruby have gone missing? I'll be right there. Thankfully, it was a false alarm. I rushed back, and before dawn, my cousin and I found Ruby asleep in the park. For the moment, the divorce with Nathan was put aside. Another 6 months passed. The sky that day was a clear, bright blue. I straightened the medicines on the shelf, then returned to the cash register. I received a message from Nathan. Our team won the top prize at the last medical competition, and the hospital's treating us to a 10-day all-expenses-paid trip to B City. We can bring our families, would you like to go with me? By the soft sands, I lowered my hat's brim and snapped a few pictures of the scenery. Can I get your contact info? I was wondering how to turn him down when my waist was suddenly grabbed. Sorry, she has a husband. We locked eyes, and I froze. I turned my head away, proudly. How did you know it was me? I didn't say I was coming. Just by the back, my one true love, how could I not recognize her even from behind? Then why didn't you come find me earlier? I don't know anyone here, and I'm so bored. The man in the floral shirt asking for my contact info had already turned and left. Nathan lowered my hat's brim, kissed my lips, then rested his forehead against mine. Earlier? You just stepped onto the beach. I was hoping to see you sooner. You only came 2 days later, and I was about to leave. About to leave? Yeah, I thought you wouldn't come, so I planned to go to your city to visit your pharmacy. Isn't that a bad deal? 10 days vacation, and the expenses are all covered here. Without you, no place would be as bright, no matter how fun it is. Then he gently nipped my earlobe. Extra chapter. 3 months later, I transferred the pharmacy to my cousin, who hired someone to manage it. I returned to City A and successfully got a job at the hospital's pharmacy, where Nathan works. Every day, I could go to work and come back with Nathan. One day, Nathan and I were sleeping. His phone lit up. He picked it up, replied, then put it down. I casually asked, "Who messaged you so late?" "Someone unimportant." In the middle of the night, I got up to use the bathroom. After turning on the dim light, my face was reflected on his phone screen, unlocking it. A conversation window popped up. His phone had my face recognition. "Lola, Nathan, I'm so scared. Can you come and keep me company, talk me through this?" "Nathan, I'm not obligated to do that." After we made up, Nathan's father's Memorial Day came. "This time, you're not going back alone without telling me." "I'm coming with you." "Okay, we'll drive back together." On the way, Nathan suddenly asked, "What are you thinking about?" I looked at him, feeling a bit quiet. "Maybe your dad doesn't want to see me." "He's seen you before." "When?" "Back in university. That night, you pulled me on the track, asking me to look at the stars with you, and he came to visit me. That night, when I went to the bathroom and came back, I couldn't find you." "Yes, that night. You went to the bathroom, and he came over to tell me he was working in this city, visiting me by the way. Actually, he had already seen us. He saw you there but didn't come over to disturb us. He brought me some clothes, and I went back to the dorm to put them away." "Huh?" "That night, I think I bit your arm. I hope your dad didn't see that. It was so annoying. The news had forecasted a meteor shower that night, and I wanted him to watch it with me, but he was so cold to me during that time. Before that, he was fine with me. He had taken a short break and came back, but his attitude was icy. I was upset, grabbed his hand as he tried to leave, bit him, and then ran to the bathroom." He raised an eyebrow. "You think he didn't see?" I immediately felt my face burn. I must have left a bad impression on him the first time we met. He probably doesn't like me. After a moment, Nathan smiled. "You know?" After that, he added 500 to my monthly allowance. "Why?" "He said you looked too thin, so I should buy you some supplements." "So, my dad thought I was your girlfriend back then?" So you didn't deny it, huh?" "You already thought of me as your girlfriend, but at school, you never admitted it. You're such a tease." "Can I be more teasing than you? Do you remember our first date? Someone wore high heels and got blisters on their feet, but still tried to act calm in front of me. It was so long ago, and he's still bringing it up. He gave you an extra 500 every month, but I never even saw you buy me a bottle of water." He tapped the steering wheel with his finger. "Who told you to be so stubborn?" "What do you mean, stubborn?" "Since I met you, I've become so much easier to approach, and I don't even get upset in front of you anymore. I told you to stop drinking soda, but you didn't listen. I told you not to buy me things, but you didn't listen." I silently shut up. Inside, I felt a bit wronged. I was just a student back then. It wasn't so bad to have a soda every now and then. As for buying him things, it was just because I saw something that seemed perfect for him and wanted to get it for him. He suddenly handed me a card. "This is for you." I was confused. "Why are you giving me this card?" "It has the extra 500 he gives you every month. I got a card for it and put it all in there. Now it's yours. If you want to buy anything, go ahead." I froze. I took the thin card, and my heart felt bittersweet. Inside it was his father's approval of me. Nathan's dad wasn't a big shot, but he was a respected railway worker. Has he always not known who hit him? He warned him, told him to stay away from you. You think he didn't know? Then he must have hated me afterward and didn't approve of us being together. His whole life, he hasn't done anything remarkable. His greatest trait is being able to distinguish right from wrong. He would never blame a little girl who knows nothing." Nathan slowed down and pulled over. He took my finger, the one I had injured with the surgical knife, and said, "Besides, this little girl even hurt her finger for his son and gave up her favorite career. A girl this good, no one would want to let go." I was stunned. "How did you know about that?" "When the surgical knife fell, it cut my index finger. Everyone thought it was just an accident. In reality, I had extended my hand to block the sharp knife, preventing it from landing on Nathan's head. My hand was immediately stained with blood. I always thought it was an accident on your part, until I saw a similar case in the operating room. Only then did I realize you had intentionally blocked the danger from me. The knife slipped because Lola wasn't operating carefully, and it slid out of her hand. Nathan was bent over adjusting the height of the lift at the time. I was right there, and when I raised my hand, the knife hit my finger. Though I quickly got treatment, the cut was deep enough to hit the bone, and after removing the stitches, my finger would shake slightly when holding a scalpel. The operating table is serious and sacred, and there's no room for error. I had to give up my dream of becoming a surgeon. But I don't regret it. If someone had to give up their dream that day, I would choose myself. Whether it was in terms of our relationship or personal abilities, Nathan would go further in medicine than I ever could. At that time, out of all the interns who started with us at the hospital, Nathan's skills stood out the most. The department head really admired him. Lola made a mistake and was sent back to school by the hospital. No other hospital wanted her. She felt so embarrassed that she applied to go assist the poor. But she was good at manipulating public opinion. She failed in her studies and caused a disaster, and in the end, it became my fault for trying to take Nathan and forcing her to go abroad. In the end, bad people don't have good endings. I heard she was diagnosed with uremia. On the way back, I glanced at the date and suddenly realized something. My hand gently rested on my belly. Nathan noticed and asked with concern, "What's wrong?" I smiled and purposely teased him. "What do you think?" Nathan paused for a moment, then became excited. "Could it be, there's a hospital ahead? Let's go get checked." After the checkup, the doctor handed over the results with a smile. "Congratulations, you're pregnant." The end.